Hi YouTubers and welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to replace one of the auger cables on this small Noma Snowblower behind me. There's actually two auger cables on this snowblower. One goes in the transmission and one goes from the outside of the transmission up to the handlebars over there. And the cable we're going to be replacing is the one inside the transmission. First you want to stand up the snowblower on its front end like this. Before you flip it up like this though, you may want to empty out the fuel tank so that it doesn't leak while it's up. Now you'll need to remove these two bolts over here and loosen two other bolts down there. Now all you need to do is loosen the bolt here and the one on this side. You do not need to remove them totally. And now the belly pan will come right off. And here's the old cable over here. It's just a tiny little cable. And you can see it's hooked into the lever over there. Just kind of hooks up like a lawnmower cable does for the brake. What I'm going to do at this point is grab it from the bottom and pull it down. And here's the small bit of cable that came out. As you can see, it's severed. So at this point here I need to get a new cable and reinstall it. It's just a small cable like this. It's part number 579856MA. From Murray. All the parts will be branded Briggs & Stratton Donnell for Noma and Murray snowblowers. And I'll just take it right out to show you. On one side it's like an eyelet, and on the other side it's just like this, a Z-bend. To get it back in its hole, I'm going to grab it with a long pair of needle nose pliers, and I'm going to go right up like this, insert it down, and then turn it like that. So because I can't go in there and fit it in through there, I'm going to take off the little roll pin over here. The shaft will come down, giving me the room to insert it in from the top. Then I'm going to bring this back up, line it up, and put the roll pin back in. What I'm going to use for this today is a 1/8 roll pin punch. I'm going to line it up and then just punch it out with a hammer. And the pin fell out at the back. And here's the pin. It's just a small 1/8 roll pin. Actually, this is called a spiral pin because the metal is rolled. So now to give me room, I'm just going to go in with a pry bar and pry this down a bit. Just a bit like this. Now I'm going to reach in and install it from the top like this down and then turn it like that. So I'm going to go in with my pliers, line it up to the holder that you see under it. Now I'm going to pry the shaft up and line it up with the hole again and put the roll pin back in. I'm going to reach in with a pair of pliers and the pin and just start it into the hole. So that'll be good for the pin. You do not need to use the smaller punch to get it in further. It's in there pretty good. Now you want to grab the cable, pull on it a bit to make sure that this lever is well secured to the shaft here. Now what I need to do is take off the bolt over here so I can get this plastic roller out of the way to get the eyelet from the cable in and through here. To do this you'll need two 7/16 wrenches and get the bolt off. Once the bolt is loose enough, you can use a ratchet and a socket. It might go faster. And now you just want to get this plastic part out. Just push it up from underneath. Now grab the cable underneath and run it through the hole. Just like this. Now I'm going to reinsert the plastic part, but I'm going to make sure that the cable is lined up in it, in the slot here. Now I'm going to put the washer on the bolt and stick it back in. And I'll reinstall the lock nut. Now when you tighten this up, you don't need to tighten it up really tight because it's a lock nut over here, and if you tighten it up too much, this little wheel won't be able to move. So you just want to kind of snug it. Now what you want to do is grab the other end of the auger cable and you want to install it in the small cable that we just installed. And when you press down on the auger lever, everything should be moving like this. Now that that's installed, you can put back the belly pan on your snowblower. If you see that your chains need to be oiled, you can do so before you put the cover back on. And once that's done, you want to put the belly pan on and you want to line up these two holes here to the bolts at the bottom. So all you have to do is slide them on to the bolts like this. And that will apply to both sides of the pan at the bottom. At the top here, you just want to line up the holes and put the bolts back in. And now with the 3/8 socket and a ratchet, you want to tighten up the bolts. And don't forget the 2 bottom side bolts. Alright, now that I'm done installing the cable, I'm going to take the snowblower outside, start it up, and see if she blows snow. So as you can see, it blows snow good. I know that that's all that was wrong with it. Obviously the cable was severed and needed to be replaced. Sometimes you may have other problems like your belts or the idler pulley needs to be adjusted. But if this is all the problem you have, if you watch this video, you're going to be easily able to do this repair yourself. So save yourself a lot of money, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.